Welcome once again to Hunter's Entertainment on Twitch.tv. My name is Knoxweiler Burf, and I am your game master tonight as we explore the furthest reaches of survival, as we begin to unravel the truth of who our characters are with us tonight. Each of the players gathered here have agreed, and we have talked extensively about what the lines are, what lines we will not cross, and what are safe darknesses to explore. We take safety of not only our players, but of all of you as audience very seriously. If you've not already, we highly recommend that you pay attention to the warnings that we have. We have put them there to protect you. Each of the players and I have had our understanding, and we have agreed that should anything go too far, we will have a communication between ourselves. This will all happen behind the scenes, but trust that it is occurring. Safety is very important. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone who's helped to make this stream happen. We are playing Outbreak Undead, which is available now on DriveThruRPG and in all of your friendly local gaming stores. This game is unforgiving. If you are familiar with it, or if you've had the pleasure of playing it yourself, you know that it operates on a very realistic scale. Within the game itself, there is a wealth of information that you can use to create scenarios and survival encounters that bring you as close as possible to the reality of some of these situations. Now, of course, we are very cognizant of the idea that horror can be dangerous. Tonight will be no different. The world that we are exploring has been with us now for a few weeks, and we have walked down some very long and dark passageways. This is the culmination of that journey so far. Each of the characters have given their all in defining who each of their characters will be in this moment. They have reached Grey Ridge Farm, a survival community that exists somewhere in the southern western part of Pennsylvania. It is a community that has struggled to remain where they are, to ensure that their small collection of people survive the coming onslaughts. It is an unforgiving territory, and they have struggled. But they have recently made contacts with a group known as the End of the Line. Enders to those for short. Enders are all available now to be able to assist these survivors. This is the first of many communities that we will encounter in our story. How they are supported is up to you. We have tonight with us the Scry application below. You can find it within our panels, and all of our moderators will be very happy to inform you as to how you can become involved in the process that is about to unfold. You are a player here, just as much as the players that you see here before you. Your choices will matter. And tonight, it will be different than it has been before. You will find that out very shortly. I am sad to say that last week we did not meet the subscriber goal and the follower goal that we were reaching for. This means that the players will not receive an additional competency point. However, if we reach 15 subs and 50 followers within the next week, when we return to Outbreak Undead, they will receive an additional competency point. All of your support is greatly appreciated. We couldn't do what we do without it. In fact, we are very attentive to how we might be able to create additional rewards for you. Please do not remain silent. Let us know over social media and on our Discord what you would like to see and what you appreciate. As far as the Scry goes, those instructions will be coming shortly. And the choices that you do make very much tonight will, for the first time, matter to what is happening within the narrative immediately. We have much to do, and I would like to thank JB Jara and Alex Human for being with us tonight and for supporting all of our efforts. Both of them have made this successful and something that we're proud of. So we wish to thank them directly. As I said, we have much to do in our journey tonight, and I do not wish to waste any more time. We'll be right back.
Well, this isn't going to be a friendly how to do, Enders. I'm sending out these tapes with the utmost urgency, and God willing, maybe we'll be able to do a little good if it reaches y'all in time, save a burgeoning community in need. I'm sure you've heard by now, Safe House 113 went tits up after some massive fire and a horde of roamers landed on that place something fierce. Bad news all around. That station's on the outskirts of our territory. It's the last stop before here in the Ohio River. I really hoped we could rebuild. We got the materials in time thanks to some good folks on the far side of the Wabash over in Breadbasket. Damn it. We didn't manage to come through on homemade gasoline and ammo. The folks on the 113 project, they weren't able to defend themselves from the just endless horde of deadheads that just keep descending on the place. That fire, it signaled massive dinner bells to every single corpse in a 100-mile radius, and, well, at this point, I think the Gray Ridge Farm is on the line. We're abandoning 113 for now. We'll resume construction on it when all of this shit blows over. If it blows over. I'm asking each and every Ender who's within range of our tapes and the radio broadcasts, rally up at Gray Ridge. Try to help them get through the next week. I don't think they've seen a horde like this in years. They've been holed up. The group's been quiet. Been small. They've been safe. But that's all coming to an end. Each of you should get your asses to the coordinates. We got them etched onto these tapes. Rally up, give them whatever your skills can give them. Show them, show them that the Enders are willing to pay it forward, make their community work. There's 4 major points of fortification on the farm that you're going to need to address. Materials are important, of course, but what they really need is labor. That's it. I don't got any funny jokes for you guys this go around. This is bad. We're all counting on you. Come back to us in one piece, with a little light still shining behind your eyes. Stay safe. Watch your asses. Godspeed.
Welcome back. As you can tell, tonight is a night unlike any other. There are choices to be made, things that must be done. Of all the paths that have been laid before these players, tonight will define the future, if they are in fact to have a future. Your support is going to be crucial to their survival. Each of them wants to live. They've survived this long, fought this hard to make it to this place, to this small gray farm, deep in the woods, at the foot of a series of small mountains in Pennsylvania. That gray farm stands now as their last hope, a bastion of safety in a world that has gone insane, that has lost all of the comforts that we understand. In 1995, the world as we know it ended. And now it is 2020. But it is far from the world that you and I understand. All technology stopped, halted, met with a dead end, like so many others. Countless billions across the globe died and then rose from the dead. I would like to take a moment now to allow the players to introduce themselves, to give you a small introduction to their characters as well. We will begin with May. May, could you please introduce yourself and tell everyone who you'll be playing tonight?
Hi there, I'm Melee Damage. You can find me on all the socials, whatever they are, / Melee Damage. And I will be playing Abigail Rose. Bit of a tough girl, really likes to shoot things, but there might be a little bit more to her than you expect.
In fact, there is quite a bit more to her that you wouldn't expect, but we will explore that shortly. Next, Luis, please introduce yourself and tell people who you will be playing tonight.
Hey everybody, I'm Luis Carrazzo. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram. I'm not on all the socials, but I'm on some. It's Luis.Carrazzo or Luis Carrazzo at whatever that's social, Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. And I'm playing Lampwick, who is at least that's what Lampwick has for a long time been calling himself. And we're just trying to hold on.
As everyone is,
Yeah.
desperately. Markia, please introduce yourself and tell people who you'll be playing tonight.
Hello, I'm Markia McCarty. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and other places at Markia McCarty or Darth Markia here on Twitch. I, if you enjoy spooky stories, I also do the podcast Something Scary. This week, it already dropped today. We have a November 5th, remember the 5th of November type of episode that happened. So check that out, youtube.com/snarled. As far as the character I'm playing, Achira Sampson, uh, used to be very family and community oriented. And then a number of very destructive things happened. And now she is completely a loner. And she only wants to be that. But sometimes in very aggressively tense circumstances, she falls back on old ways and then tries to rebound back from that. And that's probably what we might experience tonight. So I'm looking forward to that.
As am I. Finally, we have Michelle. Michelle, would you like to introduce yourself and tell everyone who you'll be playing?
Hi, I'm Michelle Wynn Bradley. I'll be playing Juniper Song. We've learned so far last time on Hunter's Entertainment, Juniper did have a twin. We know the twin has passed away in some horrible manner. We have seen scenes of Juniper and her twin having killed a man because he was a little bit too nice to us and stealing all his stuff and leaving. So it seems like Juniper seems to run away from things when they get too cozy, but we'll see how it goes from here.
We will indeed. Thank you all for being here, and I thank you for playing this game with me. Now, I would like to let all of you know that your work has been swift, but it is incomplete. You know what I'm speaking of. The reinforcements will not hold. You have time still, but that time is fleeting. Let us begin. The wind blows heavily through the strong walls that have been erected around Grey Ridge Farm. Logs have been tethered together. Lumber has been joining these pieces together now for quite some time. The wood has aged, but it is strong. All of it has taken a gray hue to it, giving an ironic sense to the name, Grey Ridge. The old farmhouse that lies behind that sturdy wall is a 3-story building that at one point must have housed a very large and happy family. Before the fall, this would have been quite a sizable farming house. However, now, with the paint stripped away and the bare necessities kept in full form, this house has been repaired time and time again, and many additions have been made to it. There are tin roofing slabs that have replaced old shingles, and there are additional wings that have been built out using crude and rough board. It is a sprawling home. The front porch has been covered in old fencing, chain link, including barbed wire. Most of the windows, those that are still intact, have been boarded, slatted, so that small sections can be seen as there's a flicker of oil light from within. Security seems to have been of the utmost concern to those that have repaired and reinforced this home. However, the space within the walls that have been erected is quite large. There are a number of gardens and small fields that have been carefully tended to. They also bear a number of chain link fences that box them in. There are scarecrows made from old clothing that stand within a field of corn. A series of small planters are strewn about and contain a wide variety of fresh fruit and vegetables. Further back, beyond the house itself, you see a pen. That pen has been carefully maintained. Within it, a number of horses, cattle, sheep, and goats move about. Through the yard, a number of chickens and two large, very angry looking roosters move about. Within the walls of Grey Ridge, there is a self sufficient community that has managed to produce the means for survival for its 25 survivors. However, there are new guests this evening, as 6 individuals have made it to their gates. Having fought their way through muddy fields filled with the dead, they find themselves here now. Merchants, rag and bone merchants who move through this part of the country, moving carefully, delivering the goods and services that cannot be produced, things that are traded, that are of great need, ammunition, weapons, old technology, some food and clothing. Other items are shepherded back and forth between the small communities that form a network here within what was once known as Pennsylvania. This world is held together by a tether, a thin string that maintains the sanity and the security of these communities. For no one community can truly survive fully on its own, not for any extended period of time. Grey Ridge is of particular interest, as Grey Ridge has produced the means to fabricate medicine, antibiotics, things that are in high demand, worth more than gold to those who fall ill within this part of the country. The rag and bone that have been sent here are emissaries. As contact has been limited, their job is to deliver to them as much of the goods and services that they were able to acquire to begin to make inroads with this community and to see that the medical supplies that are being produced here may be brought into the Ender's line so that they may be continued to be shared and distributed throughout a country in great need. It is autumn. The air is turning. And word from some of the communities within Breadbasket is very dire. There is a flu that is moving through the communities there. And while it does seem to be an ordinary flu, not one that produces the turn that all of you have come to fear so deeply, it is nonetheless dangerous. Any sickness or illness or injury can produce death. And in death, you now know there is no safety, security, or peace. For within these lands now, the dead do not lie. They raise. They raise from their graves and seek to harm and consume the living. It has been like this since 1995, when the world ended. Lampwick, you have been holding on to a bucket Your stomach has turned. When we last left you, you had expelled the contents of your stomach very forcibly. One of your guards, one of the members of this community, had left. An individual known as Chuckwagon quickly made his way away from you and sought the help of Dr. Maria Espinosa, the leader of this community. It is unknown to you as to whether or not you have contracted something from the individuals that you have helped to usher to this community. The young man and the old woman that you had run across were strange. The young man was ill, and according to the old woman that you had brought with you, she was seeking aid, medical attention. With some hesitation, your group brought them here. And you nearly died in the fields of the dead outside of the walls. However, you were not bit. You were not scratched, and as far as you can tell, you had little or no contact with the young man. But your symptoms do sound strangely like the symptoms that were mentioned by the old woman. He had a sickness of the stomach. You now find yourself vomiting. And as with every illness in the end of times, it is weighty and brings with it fear. You are sweating, but having expelled the contents of your stomach, you do find yourself somewhat relieved. You feel less feverish. Your vision has cleared. Strangely, you do not feel as badly as you had a moment before. Achira, I believe that you were close by. Is that correct?
Yes.
Abigail and Juniper, you both were speaking with other survivors that were a part of the Grey Ridge community. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, and I tried to give Lampwick an apple, but I threw it up.
You did offer an apple, and you have turned away. The conversation that you were having was with a young woman who is a part of this community. Her name is Sunny Walcott, and she has agreed to show you around, to introduce you to some of this community, and to hopefully help you to make some inroads. Abigail, you were speaking with a rough, harsh individual, a large man who holds himself with the bearing of someone who has had military training. His name is Sanderson, and he is in his late 50s. He is gruff and suspicious, and doesn't seem to like very much of the rabble that has been brought through the gates recently. He has, however, spent some time conversing with you. Also, you've spoken with Chuckwagon, the large and seemingly friendly man with a large, unkempt beard, who, while not in charge here, does seem to have some small amount of authority. The rest of the camp is quite busy. Along the walls, there are individuals that are moving across them, testing for any sign of weakness. A small armed group has left the gates, and then you begin to hear some small amount of gunshots. Some of the individuals that left are carrying pitchforks and man catchers that have been constructed out of strange pieces of recycled farm machinery on long sticks. You hear some amount of work being done on the other side of the wall to quell the uprising of the dead that has occurred within the fields due to your abrupt arrival. Lampwick, your stomach turns again, but you do feel better. What do you do?
Um, is Achira the only one in my vicinity?
Juniper is standing nearby and within earshot, but is currently moving through her bag, putting back an apple that she was going to offer you.
Achira is standing there looking at Lampwick with an eyebrow raised.
Look, this came out of nowhere. I was feeling fine just moments ago. I was fine when we were heading here, and there's no way we met these people earlier today. We know that that's not how things contract. It's too soon. I don't have whatever that guy has.
Then what is it that you think that you have? Since, I kind of covered for you, and I don't know what it is that you have right now, Lampwick.
I'm thinking it's something I ate. That's it. Maybe
Did you
the
eat the same
oranges
thing that everybody else ate at the bunker that you burned down?
that I burnt down. Don't put that
I,
on
I
me.
said you, as in the global sense of the rest of the party that I was not with at the time.
Let's not do that right now. I'm not going to be pointing fingers with you right now. Look, it had to have been something I ate. That's it. That's it. I'm already feeling so much better after puking that crap up.
Lampwick, you do begin recounting what you ate within the bunker, and there were a number of MREs that you and the others ate. Some of them are still with you. The others ate a great deal of oranges. You had one.
I'm going to look for that. If I still have some of those MREs, I'm going to pull them out and I'm going to look at them, see what condition they were in. Maybe these have gone bad. I don't know. It was dark in there. I just ate whatever I can get my hands on.
MREs going bad? I mean, they'd have to be extremely old or spoiled in some way, and you'd be able to notice it, but
Well, here, you take a look. See what you notice. Maybe they've been opened already. Maybe somebody tampered with it.
I can give a second eye on it.
I, I, do I notice if they've been opened or anything?
Examining the MREs, they seem normal. The dates do show that they are expired.
Well, see, there's that. That's all it is.
That is not uncommon, however.
They're already dehydrated. They're expired, but I mean, kind of think of it like a sell by date. It's like it doesn't mean anything.
I know it doesn't mean anything, but it's the only thing that makes any sense.
Do
There's no way I got sick.
Have you? All right, this is a question to ask. It might be possible that you have a citrus allergy. How often do you actually eat fresh citrus, for instance?
It's not my go-to food, but these days I'll eat whatever I can get my hands on. Maybe it's that.
Well, we could always give you another orange and see what happens.
Maybe another day. When we get out of this, I'll let you run that experiment on me, but that means you got to make sure I get out of this.
It's somewhat easier to not be in a village of this kind of encampment alone. So, sure, we get out of this, I'll experiment on you.
Oh, come on.
As the
Don't
two
act like
of
you didn't miss us.
As the two of you are speaking further back in the offset area outside of the gate, to one side you have the rough wood of the wall itself. There are a number of tents and cots that have been erected here. There is a wash basin and a small source of water in a large barrel. You have also an additional small area that has been curtained off with a number of old sheets. It is a changing facility and a restroom should you need it. There has been a hole dug and a small latrine built within. The two of you are speaking towards the back, and further away from you, across the way, you do see rocky outcroppings that lead up into a almost unassailable cliff face. It is a natural rock wall that prevents anyone from easily approaching from that direction. However, there are a number of individuals that are carrying lanterns that are moving about in that area. They seem to be scouting the specific area and looking for any signs of weakness within that space. You see that many individuals within this camp are moving about, and while they are small in number, they all seem to be very active in the defense of this place. 25 bodies, however, are far too few to man the walls entirely. And there are two watchtowers on which each holds a single individual who is walking back and forth with a rifle. Attached to them on those rifles, you can see very clearly a number of scopes have been attached. Abigail, what are you doing in this moment? Sanderson has walked away, and it does seem like some small amount of concern has been raised by the state that Lampwick has found himself within.
I am putting a scarf up around my face and making sure I have it tied tight because if he got sick that quick, and Abigail is convinced that it did in fact come from the boy, regardless of what anybody says, she's gonna try and keep herself as protected as possible from anyone else that may be contagious. And she's gonna try and walk up to somebody and ask a couple questions about the rock wall.
Okay. You make your way over to the other guard who has been assigned to your area of the camp. This was the area that your group decided to be placed within. You were given the option of roaming freely amongst the walls. However, you had declined their insistence that you remove your weapons and leave them with them. Due to that, you have been quarantined, as it were, into a small area outside of the gate. It is not wholly uncomfortable, and you know for a fact that you are much safer here than you would be outside of the walls. It is now early evening. Dark has fallen and the sun has set. And outside beyond, you hear the skirmish that is occurring with the dead of that field. The wet, muddy field that the undead rose from and nearly took some of your compatriots with them. You turn and talk to the individual, and you see a man with a very dark head of hair with a streak of gray worked through one side of it. He is wearing broken glasses that have been taped over many times. He is wearing military fatigues that have been repatched many times over, and the clothing is clearly very worn. He holds a hunting rifle within his arms, and on his back is a large machete.
It's a nice blade you got there.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. Um, yeah, it's a machete. I just use it when I can't get a good shot off. I don't like being too close to those things. You can tell that this individual is highly attentive to the things that are happening outside of the wall and is craning his neck back and forth to try to get a better view of the gate.
I noticed you're trying to get a better view. I was wondering, anybody tried to like climb up to the top of that rock wall up there? Like, how does one get up there?
Oh, no, nobody goes up there. It's too steep. You break your neck. Some of the kids climbed up it about a summer ago, and they ended up with a broken leg. The other one a broken arm. It wasn't a good situation. I mean, if you're particularly good at rock climbing, or perhaps if you used to be, it isn't the worst thing. But I wouldn't attempt it. And needless to say, the dead certainly can't climb it.
You're certain the dead can't climb it from the other side?
The other side? No. It's as steep on the other side as it is over here. It's a ridge
Okay.
after all, both sides like a blade.
All right. That's that's relieving. Uh, although I would think it would help if somebody could position something up there eventually. Give you a really good lookout even further into the distance.
I'm real sorry I didn't introduce myself. My name is David.
Hmm. Uh, Rebecca.
Rebecca, right. Well, you and the other Rag and Bone, I don't think you're going to be here long enough to really help us build much of anything, right? Or are we talking about, future alliance sort of situations where you might come back with the material we need to do that?
I'm just sharing something. Sometimes I see things from a different perspective. A little bit of help.
Well, I'll let
Perspective is
Sanderson
good.
know. Yeah, perspective's great. I'll let Sanderson know. I mean, he's in charge of all the defenses, and the doc is really good about making sure that everybody keeps a level head. But I got to be honest, like Sanderson runs the show as far as the defenses go. Um, yeah, but if you know anything about it, you should take a look. I don't. I think you have to have someone usher you over there. They're not going to let you walk around free and clear because you don't want to let go of your guns. Which, by the way, I understand, but I don't think it's putting
Yes.
anybody at ease.
No, I get that. You said Sanderson was in charge. Did you see which way he went?
Well, you were speaking to him a few minutes ago, but he walked back over to the main house. As far as I understand, Chuck Wagon just rushed out of here, left me alone here to guard duty. So I'd really appreciate it if you and your people would just, you know, keep a lid on it until somebody comes back, because I don't want to be chewed out again for not keeping things on the level.
Understandable. And if you need an extra guard, I realize we're new, but if things get a little hairy, I'm a pretty good shot. And about supplies, I'll um, I'll keep a lookout for an extra pair of those.
All right, great. Sounds good to me. Again, you're welcome here, Rebecca. I just think you gotta listen to what Doc and Sanderson say, because they really do run a tight ship, and I don't really have any say around here. I just do what I'm told, and I'm fine with that, by the way.
Hmm. Understandable. Um, but I might be of some help if I could take a look at, some of your guard towers, crow's nest, that kind
Uh,
of thing.
yeah, I would take a look. And he keeps craning his head over towards the gate and looks nervous as he looks back. Juniper, you're going through your bag, and you hear a little bit of what Lampwick and Chira are talking about, and you hear a little bit of this new conversation that's starting up now with Abigail and your other guard. You're still within this small pin. What are you doing?
Mm, I am assessing if I can find anything that will help me sneak out of this tent to go check out that cool mine that I know is going to be really neat, or um, and also kind of waiting to see if they decide to take away Lampwick or if he's done vomiting and we're going to hide it. I'm not communicating with them about what that plan is. I'm just sort of observing. But
Right.
can I find a part of this tent that is not being guarded, or is it all kind of?
Yeah, you can kind of slip through. If you're gonna do that, however, I'm gonna have to ask you to make a stealth roll.
I would say I'm gonna look right now. I'm gonna like hold action and just see if I can find a place, and then just like
Hmm.
take that opportunity later if I feel like things are gonna go bad in here.
You see a section that you think is going to work for you, but you haven't yet made any move towards it. But you do think that there is a section that you kind of slip off to behind some of these tents and kind of easily disappear in a way if you so choose. This isn't a prison. Like there are some fencing parts that are here, but they're only about waist high, and it's more of a pin, really. And you can see that it's just a kind of a cursory. These are the boundaries that we expect you to be within, sort of situation. And there are, like I said, little tents and areas that have been made so that whoever was staying here temporarily would have the bare minimum of comfort. There's a couple of crates that have been put together to be boxes, and there are some stools and turned over buckets that people are using for seating. There's even a couple of decks of playing cards and some poker chips off to one side. So they're definitely not treating this like a holding prison.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go check out that card game.
Yeah, you move over and there's a deck of cards and some seating.
Is anyone playing?
No.
Or is it just sitting there? Oh.
It's just sitting there. It looks like somebody was playing solitaire and then walked away from it.
I try to observe the solitaire configuration to figure out what this game is and how to play it. I'm just looking at it.
You don't know solitaire.
You
So
don't.
as you look down, it just looks like somebody was stacking cards and you really have no idea what they were doing. As far as you can tell, people just like to organize cards.
Juniper's standing there and you can see like the math going, doo, 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 equations coming out of her head for like a full minute.
Okay, so you're standing there. A few minutes later, there is a lot of commotion at the front of the Gray Ridge farmhouse as you see Doc coming out, and behind her is Chuckwagon, and she's walking very quickly towards your holding area.
I steal the cards and the chips. Now I have cards and chips.
All right.
It's good to yell actions when Nox is busy doing other stuff.
I need you to make a stealth check though.
Fine,
If you're going to be doing
I'm doing it. I'm gonna roll so good. Hold on, stealth. Where are you at? Oh. Okay, there it is. That is one success.
a single success, eh? You do manage to slip the cards into your pocket. You don't think anybody saw you. Everyone else is more or less distracted, but I will allow you all to make a spot listen for a number of different reasons. So everybody can roll a spot listen, and I will remind you that you only have 3 competency points as an initial starting to your competency for this session.
For the spot listen, would I be able to use my recon gear for that?
I don't think you would be using gear right now, as you're not actively kind of engaged in the environment. I feel like you were talking with Lampwick, but you did. I'm sorry. Did you get a single? No,
No, I haven't rolled just yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you wouldn't have that.
Yeah, my driving force right now was like, yeah, it was checking on Lampwick, but it's going to be connecting with Chuckwagon for that whole mine black market situation. So
yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely some connection that has occurred there, and the two of you have a lot to discuss when this whole Lampwick ill situation blows over. However, very fittingly, you have 5 degrees of failure, Lampwick. You are ill. You don't notice anything. You're completely oblivious. Achira, you have 4 degrees of success. Abigail, you have 2 degrees of success. And then June, did you have 3 degrees of failure? You were too busy stealing the cards to notice anything.
So busy. They stole them so good.
So, Abigail, you notice that the doctor is moving very, very quickly and very, very pointedly directly in the area that is you're being held within. But additionally, outside of the gate, the gunfire has stopped and it's quiet. Achira, with your huge number of successes, I have a lot to tell you. Is there anything, first of all, that you would like to add as a benefit because of all of these successes that you have? Is there something that you were hoping to be able to accomplish that maybe I can assist you with in this moment? Well, it should be perception based, like maybe you notice something or I give you more information.
I guess Achira would want to know the weak points for what she can determine, because she literally deals with shadow work. She deals with things in the dark. She wants to deal with things on the black market that are underneath the eye of Espinoza and Sanderson. So being able to better tag those around her that would deal in that would be something that would be a priority for her.
Okay, so
besides Chuckwagon, of course.
Right. So the first thing that you're going to notice, and this is a freebie, is that Chuckwagon is company man. Chuckwagon is going to be very hard to fully corrupt or to try to connect with on any sort of illegal manner that would betray anything to do with the encampment itself. While Chuckwagon does wield a small amount of authority, he's probably fourth in charge here. He doesn't have the avarice necessary to really suit your needs. You're going to have to find somebody who wants something, and I'm going to allow you to kind of keep your eye open for that individual, and I'll give you some more information as we move along. But the thing immediately that you do notice, you see that Juniper steals a deck of cards, but that isn't what catches your eye the most. Because at first that's what drew your eye away from Lampwick, who's sitting there with his bucket between his legs. And he looks pale, but he does look like he has a little color returning to his face. And Juniper pockets this deck of cards. You glance over and you see the doctor coming. What you notice immediately is that the scrubs that she is currently wearing are tucked in a weird way, as if something is tucked into the back of her pants. And she's moving like a bat out of hell in your direction.
Would it be possible, because this, well, I don't feel good about this. Would it be possible to take this moment to like rub Lampwick's arm like really hard with like knuckles, pull out an orange peel when they come up, and then like kind of hold it and be like, oh, citrus allergy?
So you are attempting to cause some sort of reaction on Lampwick's skin that would prove
Not
it?
causing a reaction. It's literally faking a reaction, like giving him a rug burn on his arm
I
with
see.
knuckles, and then just pulling out a discarded orange peel like when they come up and being like, oh, orange allergy. Of course, she will be wearing her protection because we established earlier that everybody has that face covering protection.
Do you have first aid or medicine?
Well, she has a 43 in first aid.
Okay, so I will allow you to roll your first aid
Okay.
to create an appropriate abrasion that would seem like an irritant that would convince this doctor that Lampwick has some sort of allergy to citrus. You can make the roll. I am going to give you a single die of difficulty because you are trying to fool a doctor.
Yeah.
And I feel that that is
Totally get that.
generous, but we will see
she's super
what happens if you
frustrated
succeed.
and disheveled. Otherwise, I wouldn't bother.
Right.
Difficulty.
It might buy you some time, is what I'm saying.
I'm sorry. Difficulty dice is.
So you have one single difficulty die. It's going to be an additional
I'm
black
sorry,
die.
the black dice. Thank you.
Yeah, one additional black die.
D6 or D5?
Well, it's going to be a D5.
D5.
And, yeah.
Got it.
However, if you do roll sixes, they can explode.
Got it. I don't have anything with training value bonus in first aid, so I'm not going to even bother with that. 2 successes.
All right. So you do manage to very quickly abrate Lampwick's hand. And Lampwick, you just notice like on your arm, like she's, rubbing your knuckles and getting all this set up. You begin to kind of understand what's going on. I assume you're going to allow this to happen?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You do this just in time as Chuckwagon and the doc step through the pin and look to you, Abigail. I was told that there is someone sick here. Lampwick. Is that correct?
Look, I'm not sick. All right. I ate something that made me, not right for a moment, and now it's out of me, and now I'm fine.
She shoots a look to Chuckwagon. Chuckwagon just kind of shrugs, and she looks back to you. You ate something. Very well. You won't mind then if I give you an examination.
I would prefer that you did, actually.
All right. Come with us. I'm taking you back into the house, to my office.
Ooh. Achira, if you don't mind coming with us, that would be.
That won't be happening.
I would look.
Well,
You have
none of our members go separately, and as you can tell right here, it's an obvious citrus allergy. I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes, but I do have somewhat of a field experience with things, of things that we can eat and things that we don't. And this freaking idiot ate. Uh, I mean, and as you can see, and then she's gonna hold off the citrus peel.
Mm-hmm.
We don't run into fresh fruit a lot, and I wasn't there when this one decided to just gorge on things that did an allergen response.
Look, hey, everybody makes mistakes, and we're all hungry, and I'd like for my friend to come with me, please, just as a precaution. You would want the same thing if you were in my shoes. Let's just.
All
we're
right,
on the same
stop. I've heard enough. All right. First of all, you're going to leave all your weapons here. End of discussion. I will bring both of you with us. However, there will be no weapons, and you will be patted down. Those are the terms.
Can you just have our weapons on the ground near us? What if something happens while we're there? You know
We
how
will
unpredictable
protect
things.
you, Lampwick. You are sick, and I have to examine you. If we find that you are not infectious, then we will deal with the situation. The terms have changed. She reaches behind her back and pulls out a pistol and levels it at your head. Do we have an understanding?
You just said you were going to keep me safe, and now you're
Lampwick, go with
threatening
her.
me.
This is the only medical attention you're going to get, buddy. You have to go.
I am going to keep you safe, but I'm also going to keep everyone within this camp safe.
Let's go.
You're gonna do that with a gun pointed at someone's head? You're gonna do that
fucking
with
right,
making
I
us take our
will.
weapons?
Ma'am, I ask you now to put down your weapons. I want you to do the same, Lampwick.
Hey,
Set
look,
them on the ground.
my weapons are already
Can
on
you
the
at
ground.
least-
So
Can you at least have someone carry our weapons with us to wherever you're going to take us? They can hold them, but I am not leaving them here when you barely have reinforcements for this particular encampment.
Achira, you live in the same world that I do. I need you to understand me here. I am not marching both of you into this camp with your weapons on you. Now, if you want to try to bring something with you, we are going to have a very, very short disagreement. I am not the only one with a gun leveled at both of you now. She points up to the watchtower and just kind of briefly turns back, and you see that both individuals with the rifles have them shouldered. They're not pointed directly at you, but they are kind of held in your general direction.
Look, this is getting out of hand. This doesn't. Why does this need to escalate? We're on the same side.
If I could give a quick suggestion, why don't you just examine him like here? Because don't you just have to like poke him and touch his parts and then call it a day? Why does he have to go to his? I mean, you could just bring your stuff over here so no one's mad about it. I'm just saying.
Oh, I apologize. I didn't realize that you'd brought a doctor with you.
Yeah, it's the first time someone called me a doctor. That's funny.
Look,
we have means of testing you. I will do so, and then you will be returned here. Achira, you can come with us, but I insist that weapons be left here. Is there further argument? Or, alternately, you leave right now.
Wow.
You are so kind to those that have brought you the ingredients you needed.
I'm shocked. I look, Achira, stay here. I'll go on my own, and just if I'm not back in, how long do you expect this to take, Doctor?
No. I didn't save you from the mud Romeros for you to just be taken somewhere else now. Afterwards, after they realize this is just a ridiculous allergy, then I hate all of this.
It's pretty shitty. All right, let's go. Let's get this over with.
All right. You drop your weaponry, Lampwick.
I do.
Do you try to hide anything or conceal any weapons?
Nope.
All right.
Akira tries to conceal her hand scythe while making a big production of dropping her long gun, which is more visible.
I'm going to make a big production of making sure they know exactly where I'm putting all my weapons. It's all right here next to the puke bucket.
A scythe is going to be difficult to hide, Achira.
Oh, damn! Okay.
I will allow you to try, but you're going to have to make me a stealth roll. And on top of that, I'm going to give you 3 degrees of difficulty.
Just hide a small dagger. Or what, a really sharp toothpick.
I don't have a small dagger. I've got the
Oh.
long one and I've got a hand scythe. I haven't had a chance to barter yet to get other stuff. I will get a dagger. I will get smaller things, but I don't have it yet.
I'm sorry to say you don't have one right now, though. So, knowing this, are you going to try to hide the sign?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I am.
Make a roll for it.
They already know I'm difficult. Whatever.
All right. So, you're going to have 3 difficulty die.
And that's all the black dice?
Yes, those are all black die. And you're going to add those to your roll.
D5s or D6s?
They're going to be D5s.
All right. And this is a stealth roll?
Yes.
Can I use any of my recon gear with this, since that's based on my stealth?
I don't feel like you're set for a mission right now. Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking pockets and like zippers, you know?
Okay, I'm going to allow you to use your recon gear, understanding that it is part of your outfit, and you have some specialized strapping that allows you to place this fairly close to your body. You can do that. I'm not going to lower the difficulty, but I will allow you to use the gear.
Yeah, I have a predominantly stealth and sassy based character.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Stealth and slash based character. So this hand scythe is everything for her. 2 successes.
All right. Now I'm going to have to make a spot check here as you are being patted down by Chuckwagon. Chuckwagon, however, is distracted. We'll see how lucky he is.
Achira is okay with doing a pin-up pose while getting patted down to further that distraction.
All right, interesting. So before I make this roll, let's see if you can adjust the way that it's going to be resolved. Let's have you make let's call it a persuasion. I don't think it fits into diplomacy, to be perfectly honest. It's definitely persuasion. It isn't empathy based. Or I'm sorry. Yeah.
Is there any way that I can, since we're kind of both on the same end of this and kind of tag teaming it, is there any way that I can contribute? I'm trying to distract as well by making a production of, leaving this, but then I'm going to turn to the group. As Chuckwagon is patting Achira down, I'm going to turn to all of them and try to get their attention, essentially, and just say, hey, look, I understand the precautions, but I just want to remind you that we're on the same side. Okay, so let's just cut the crap. We're doing what you want us to do. We're safe. We came here to help you.
Go ahead and make a persuasion as well, then, Lampwick. I am going to give you 1 degree of difficulty based on the fact that you have proven to be ill, and there is a lot of concern about anything that you're saying right now.
Got it.
So you have an additional degree of difficulty. Achira, did you want to make a persuade check to try and entice some sort of confusion out of Chuckwagon?
This is not her strong point.
Yeah.
Sure, we can see if that works.
I mean, you can bid something else if you can make an
Okay.
argument to me that makes sense for a
Is it
skill.
possible to do a dodge with this where he's trying to pat down certain parts and she puts other parts in near his hands than others? Like,
That is the most creative use of a dodge that I have ever heard in my long gaming career.
I mean, just talking with like TSA experience where they just try to, and it's just
Yeah.
like, it's like, nope, you don't have to.
I'm
We know
gonna
that's
stay with persuasion on this because I do feel
Persuasion?
like there is
No worries.
seduction would require something a little more less gymnastics and more of kind of a mental game.
I turned I turned to him as he's kind of like searching her, and I was like, "You better watch where you touch. She's real ticklish,
Oh my god.
and she don't like it."
Okay, so they don't seem to be putting up with any sort of nonsense in this moment, as they are kind of harshly patting you down. Go ahead and make your persuade, Achira, and let's see how you do. You've
Are
already
there
succeeded on your stealth. It just depends on how well you succeed.
Are there any dice that's attached to my persuade? Because I don't have anything to put on persuade. So
Yeah, there's this is a straight roll for you.
okay.
I'm not going to add difficulty, but it is determined by your straight dice roll.
Got it. Yeah, that's 2 failures. Yeah, she's not a seductive person.
So you are trying your best, and Chuck Wagon.
I'm gonna spend 2 competency points to make it a wash. Because I had the 2 successes in stealth, and I will make this a wash on persuasion. So it's just awkward, maybe.
Yes, it is still a failure, but it will be awkward because remember, for me, some game masters do handle this situation differently, but I do not allow for anything other than success or failure. If you wash, it is a fail, but it will not be as bad of a fail as if you had 2 degrees of failure.
I'll spend all 3 to make it a success.
All right, you succeed.
I have 3 successes, but I have an ability that whenever I succeed, I get 3 bonus successes. So does that make it 6?
Yes, it does.
Does that in any way cut down on the competency?
What it does is it changes the situation. As Lampwick starts to kind of smoothly joke around and start talking, both the doc, David, who is also now kind of at arms and has his gun close to you, Abigail, not pointed at you in any way, but you can see that David is agitated. The guards on the watchtower remain much as they were, but the individuals within earshot of everything Lampwick is saying visibly start to relax. And Chuck Wagon kind of gives a chuckle, and the doc lowers her gun.
I just keep my hands up.
You succeed, Achira, and unfortunately for Chuck Wagon, he ends up with a handful of your thigh, and he stops and blushes bright red like a kid with his hand in a candy jar caught. And he stops and he's like, I'm so sorry about that. I'll tell you right now, I did not mean to. I'm sorry.
At least get me some moonshine first, darling.
He chuckles a little bit as you've kind of like done the little dodge thing that you pushed yourself into his hand, and he immediately, like a schoolboy, was blushing. He's still beet red. However, the tension has been completely diffused from the situation. And the doc puts the gun back into the band of her pants, and the others kind of gather around you. Chuck Wagon still has a rifle down, but isn't pointed at anyone, and the doc looks at both of you. All right, look. This has gotten a little tense, you're right. And we are on the same side, Lampwick. You're absolutely right. Let's just get this examination over with, and I'll get you back here. I promise you nothing is going to happen. We're working our way around the back of the farmhouse. I have a special entrance that leads directly into my office. You will come in contact with no other members of this encampment. If you are sick, that's important, all right? We can't have you spreading what you have.
I
Second of
understand.
all, I can't have my people seeing both of you walking around openly with weapons. It makes them nervous. And right now, when you came through our gates, you brought those things to our door. That field was planted specifically to protect us, and we knew the dangers. But I'll tell you right now, when they get riled up, they bring more. And so it's essential that we maintain some amount of peace here. We can't have gunfire. We can't have the zombies outside scratching at our gates. I apologize. But the fact that you're sick, Lampwick, whether it is some sort of allergic reaction or just something you ate, has to be taken seriously. Do you understand?
I understand 100%, and I was totally willing to go along. In fact, my next impulse was to find you. This just came on suddenly, so I'm glad. Let's squash it. Let's move on.
All right. We're going to trust you, but you have to trust us. All right, Achira?
Indeed. And in fact, if you hadn't already come up, I would have been like, it appears to me he's having an adverse and allergic reaction to citrus. And I only know this because I have the same thing to oxycodone. So
All right. Let's move out. And the four of you begin working your way. You do have your scythe on you, Achira.
yeah, the long
it is-
gun she visibly
Yep.
left.
And so the four of you are working your way across the field towards the house. Abigail, you look over and you see Juniper there, watching all of this unfold. David is still there, standing guard by your small encampment, and kind of quickly steps away to start to try to peek through portions of the fence to see what's happening outside. What did the two of you wish to do?
I would like to step a little closer to see what's going on outside as well. Now that that's done, I remember you saying that I heard that there had been gunfire that had stopped.
The gunfire has stopped.
I'd like to see what that's all about.
How are you going to do that?
What there like a crack in between something that I can look through? Are there any little like slats that I can move to the side to peek through?
This is a good time for us to share with everyone now the map of Grey Ridge. If you look at your map here, you'll easily see, Abigail, that there is a very large wooden fence that works its way around this encampment. Can you see the pings that I'm putting into Rule 20?
I believe I can. Yes.
All right. You are currently here. The gate is here. There is a rough road that runs down this direction. This is the main house. On the other side of you, very close by, is this broken down old barn. There is a silo attached to it. Additionally, there are some outhouses and other small buildings that have been dug out in the middle of all of the rubble of this just decayed old building. There are additional pins and small gardens and fields all throughout the interior yard. Additionally, there are small encampments here for individuals who do not live within the walls of the main house. You press yourself up against this wall. There are cracks. I would like for you to make a spot listen check. It is dark. I'm going to give you 2 degrees of difficulty. Meanwhile, Juniper, you have the cards safely in your pocket, and you watch as both Lampwick and Achira are led away by the doctor and Chuckwagon. David, the other guard, is still there, and you see as Abigail starts to press herself up against the fencing here to try to see what's beyond the wall. What would you like to do?
I'd like to take Achira and Lampwick's weapons they left, put them under my cool cape jacket thing that I've got.
Mm-hmm.
Just like hold on to them, but I'd like to do it so no one sees me do that. So maybe stealthy.
Yes, of course. Go ahead and make a stealth check. There's no difficulty here. No one seems to be paying a lot of attention to you, Juniper.
I got one failure.
Okay, so that is a failure. Do you want to leave it as a failure?
Sure, I'm saving it. I feel like something bad's gonna happen later.
Is that what you feel?
I feel that I'm not gonna use any of my things yet. No, I'll take that one failure.
Interesting. You do take the failure, and you knock over Achira's rifle as you're stumbling forward, and it does make some noise. Both David and Abigail hear you.
David, come here.
Is there something wrong?
I don't. My friends don't have their weapons, and I don't. Should we put them somewhere safe so no one takes them? I'm really worried about them.
I mean, whatever you do with the weapons is up to you. They aren't ours.
Are you sure no one's gonna take them? You all seem like you really don't like us that much.
That's not true. This is a good camp with good people. We just are worried about outsiders. We've had problems in the past.
So why can't they why couldn't Lampwick get examined here? Why did he have to go to the weird house?
Because that's the doctor's office back there. I mean, she has all sorts of equipment that she can use. We've got a generator too, and there's good light. It's dark out here, and we're using lanterns and campfires. I think she's being safe, and if he is sick, she might be able to do something for her. All the medicine's locked up inside. I probably shouldn't have told you that.
Well, where else is gonna be? In the barn? The horse is locked inside.
Yeah, we're not supposed to tell you where things are here.
A house has stuff in it, and we've been to like so many encampments. This happens to us all the time. It's totally fine. Anyway, cool. Just thanks for reassuring me. I'll just go back to what I was doing.
Abigail, you have 5 degrees of failure on your spot. Listen. This is bad. It is, I think, safe to say that if you don't want to spend anything, and I'm not trying to encourage you to do so, the choices that you make are your own. However, leaving this at 5 degrees of failure means that I'm going to put more risk upon all of you because of this. So you can ignore the fact that you've rolled this, not change it, and it will intensify the danger that you are facing.
How many would I have to spend to make that not happen?
2.
I will spend the 2.
You spend 2 of your competency points, and you have removed the risk that I was going to add to my pool, which is a good thing, because I've already expended a large number of risk. You don't hear anything, Abigail. You're pressed up against the wall. It's quiet. Deadly quiet. There are no chirping crickets, no birds, no sounds at all. The wind is gently blowing, but beyond that, no gunshots, nobody on the road, nothing. And then you hear it coming from behind you in the house. Oh, children of the valley, walking hand in hand. Oh, children of the valley, walking hand in hand. Muted through the walls of that building, you hear the old woman's song. It is loud. And as she sings, you do begin to hear something.
What is that, and why does she keep singing? Also, Juniper, I need you to know that If this woman continues to sing when the Romeros are around and she gives our position away, I will kill her myself.
Oh, I was gonna kill her earlier when she sang the first time because I hate it so much. So
You know, if that's what you want to do, I support you fully. And I need you to know my heart's with you, kid.
yeah, I mean, I don't even understand why we're being so nice to these people. There's no point. Like, if they want to kill us, then we should just leave. I mean,
It's the right thing to do.
There is a panic as members of the Gray Ridge community rush towards the gate, throwing it open. There is a series of hand signals that have been motioned, and a rope drops down out of one of the watchtowers. Juniper, you see as Sonny Walcott rushes forward and throws open the gate and pulls someone inside. They slam the gate shut and they bar it immediately. The individual who falls forward looks heavily wounded. Blood is everywhere. And as they turn their head towards you, you notice that the bottom half of their jaw has been ripped asunder and bone hangs loosely, their tongue lolling, and they scream, gurgling in pain. Sunny backs up and pulls her knife, presses it into the forehead of the individual, and then meets your eye for a moment. Juniper, she wasn't looking for your approval. She looks hurt as she presses downward, and the individual's body jerks and then falls limp. She pulls the knife out. It is dripping blood. The others begin moving about, and you can see that they start to reinforce the gate with a number of logs that are tilted upward. Abigail, there is sound outside of the walls now. The pressing of the dead and the groans deep across the street.
I've got to get to a high vantage point, Juniper.
Groaning echoes through the night, and the shuffling of the dead begins to press up against the wall. You don't know numbers, but Abigail, you are certain that there are a great many of them, and they are pressing against the walls. We're going to take a short break. It's going to be 10 minutes, and then we will be back. We entreat you not to leave, not to go anywhere. The situation is only going to get worse, and we hope that you're here to witness it. Welcome back. This is Hunter's Entertainment at twitch.tv. We are playing Outbreak Undead, Rag and Bone. The journey that these characters have undertaken has led them here to Grey Ridge Farm, a small community that has, in its infancy, found a way to simulate and create a number of curatives, medicines that are hard to find in this dark apocalypse. Their hope is that they may include these wares in their arsenal and carry them forward to other communities to barter and trade and to help this community to thrive so that all who are connected to it can benefit from these life-saving items that have been birthed here within its walls. However, as we have learned just before our break, there are things that would see that plan fail. Fate has turned again, and the dead are at the walls, hungry, desperate. Now, those who have found themselves within this space in Grey Ridge Farm are alerted to the fact that there may not be a morning for them. A number of our characters have moved away from the holding pen that they were being safely guarded within. Most of their weaponry has been left there as well. Others, aware now of the threat, are still present. Juniper, you have witnessed your new friend, Sunny, slay one of her own. A member of this encampment who was outside the wall trying to quell the uprising of the dead that was stirred when your group arrived. However, it appears that something went horribly wrong. Mangled, this individual barely made it through the gates and was clearly going to die. Sunny ensured that this individual would not raise again and gave them mercy. While she is upset, she sheathes her knife after cleaning it off and then marches in your direction. We're going to need both of you now to come with me. Please. Bring your weapons.
Yeah, I figured that was the case. Where do you need me?
You're good with that rifle, right? We saw you shoot earlier.
Very good.
All right, I want you to climb up that watchtower over there. She points further back. The man who's at the top of it, his name is Neville. You're going to be stationed with him. He's going to know to keep an eye on you, though, so please don't make this difficult for anyone.
I won't. Don't worry about that. Neville, you said?
Neville, yeah. You're going to want to make your way up there. There's a rope ladder off to the side.
I'll head that way, and Abigail will book it over towards there.
Okay, so you run over. You're taking all of your gear with you. Do you have anything else?
Let's see. I have just that, and if there's any weapons of our party that they dropped, I will try to grab those. If not for anything else, the ammunition.
Juniper has all of that right now, but it's
Okay.
very apparent that she has it. It's not a hidden situation.
Just holding it like this.
Do you want to take anything from Juniper?
Hey, do you mind if I take some of those guns just in case, mine runs out?
Oh yeah, I can like barely shoot them, to be honest, so.
All right, well, here, I'll take what you don't want. Thank you. And if they come back, let them know I have them. They're safe.
Right.
Okay. Sunny, is it okay if just Abigail goes? Like, can I go rejoin my friends in the house?
You're going to come with me. We're going to go over to the other side of the house right now. We have to get a perimeter set up here. So the two of us are going to move away. Your friend is going to be okay up there in the watchtower, but I need you to come with me. Do you have your weapons?
Okay. Just to clarify, what weapons did they drop all their stuff or just their weapons, Achira and Linkwick?
Anything that's considered a weapon, like a knife or a gun or anything other than the single scythe.
Quick, just inventory. We have the
Achira only dropped her long gun.
Yeah, so it's just a long gun.
And
you didn't have anything else other than the scythe, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Then Linkwick just had the gun.
I had a spear, and I had a pistol originally, but if the pistol was lost outside, then it's no longer here. If it wasn't lost outside, then it's with you.
Yeah, you just lost your bags. So you have the pistol and the spear, and that's all.
Okay, so I take the spear and I give the long gun and the pistol to Abigail then. So okay, just checking. I have a spear now.
Okay, so
all
Abigail,
right, yeah.
You take those weapons, you go up and you climb up that tower. There is a man who's up there. He has braided dreads that are pulled back into a tight bun, and he's scouring the horizon. And he's wearing a hoodie and a pair of highly patched overalls. And he is very clearly provisioned up here to be here for a while. There is a bucket and some water and some food and some other rations, some dried items that are hanging here. And you can see little scratch marks along the side of this watchtower as you come up. And he turns and looks at you immediately. Hey.
You Neville?
Yeah, that's me. I'm Neville. Yeah.
Oh, looks like you've been up here a while, man.
Yeah, I've been here. It's been something else. Are you any good with that thing? Motioning to your rifle on your back.
Yeah, of course. I'll watch your back. You watch mine. If you see him, just call out clock location.
Uh, do I see him? uh, he points over the edge of the
I meant
watchtower.
I meant a breach. If you see a breach in the gate, call out where it is in the position of a clock, and I'll know where to point my gun to shoot.
Abigail, for the first time, you see beyond the walls very clearly. There are a number of lanterns that have been lit and now hang above the walls on poles that raise them up and out just slightly past the walls. And you can't count them. It is a veritable sea of the dead, swaying and pushing forward. The road all the way back, half a mile away to the forest line, is full of the dead. The Romeros have created a river that is pressing up against that singular gate. And
I
Neville is
realize,
sweating heavily.
I realize, Neville, that we have a lot of supplies here, and that you really want to hold this fort down. But I think at this point, we're not really necessary. I feel like an evacuation plan is more necessary, and maybe we try to get people out of here. Come back for the supplies later.
Yeah, I agree. We just get out of here. But that there's a problem with that.
Okay.
Uh, Sanderson isn't gonna let us let go of this space. And I know the doc is doing some important stuff down in the basement. I can't make that call. I'm just staying here. I'm just keeping an eye on things. I'm not gonna fire. I mean, they might go away, right?
If it's a herd like this, maybe they'll pass, especially if we draw attention elsewhere. If we can get people to safety, you said something about basements. I don't. Uh, if there's storm cellars, things like that. Oh, there's a mine around here, isn't there?
Yeah. How do you know about that?
I listen more than I talk.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Sanderson talks about that stuff all the time, and we do have evacuation type situations, but we don't go far. We go underground. But I don't. Who's been talking to you?
Again, I'm just a really good listener. But
All right. Yeah, you're here to help, though, right?
yeah, we should move people there and get them out of here. I mean, I don't think the Romeros are going to do too much as far as going after the supplies. It's not like they're going to steal them. So I would say that they're probably going to roll through here, and we should probably move people and get ready for them to be kind of quarantined somewhere for a while until this herd passes. That's, whew, holy shit, that's a lot of them.
Um. So yeah, it is. You've seen this mini before, but from a distance. Usually when this happens, they just continue to build up because the groaning and the sounds and the shuffling and the smells of the dead draw more dead. And it becomes this endless tide that cannot be held back. They destroy everything within their path and they press up against each other. These are moving fairly slow, but you're noticing that there are movements within the herd in front of you, as there are points where there are surges of movement, as if numbers within the rank break away and start chaotically pushing forward with a great amount of speed, faster than you're used to.
Hmm. That's
Addition. Oh, go ahead.
Neville. Neville, you ever see that before?
Uh, Around here, well, I mean, it's been quiet. We're out of the way here. I've seen this many before, but not this close. No, I've not seen this.
And that fast movement that seems to be happening.
What are you looking at? And Neville turns and like holds the scope and starts to kind of look through it.
That where they're pushing more over there, and Abigail.
Mother of God, what are they doing?
those places where we seem to be like pushing.
Have you
Yeah.
seen this?
And no, to be honest with you, I've never seen a herd this big either. I was wondering if you knew that to be something that was, I don't know, a migrational pattern.
I don't know what's happening right now. Maybe maybe I send up a signal and we get word over to Sanderson to come take a look.
Yeah. But whatever we do, we should move really fast. We're burning daylight, Hoss.
You see as he takes a white flag and throws it over the side, and it kind of rolls and unfurls out. And he holds up a lantern and quickly raises and lowers the hood on it 3 times. And you see a response from the Gray Ridge house across this massive field, right? And additionally, you watch as other members of the community begin to bolster the walls here. They're taking large logs and placing them up against the wall and digging trenches as fast as they can to try to reinforce all of this. We'll come back to you. Meanwhile, Juniper, you're walking with Sunny very quickly across this field. She's darting her eyes back and forth, keeping a very close watch on everything occurring around you.
So, has this ever happened before? Like your walls fell ever before?
These walls have held, and we've had attacks before, but I can't say that they were ever like this.
Oh, first time. Okay, so we're probably gonna have to leave or go somewhere else that's more secure than what's inside this wall. I mean, like, I don't know a lot about this stuff other than I've totally experienced it before, but like a lot of people are gonna die, and we can't just stay still and try to fix that wall over and over again.
This is my family's home. This is
Mm-hmm.
all that I've got left, and the people here matter. What we're doing matters. We're growing things that are curing people. We can't let go of that. We have to fight.
No, I hear that. I mean, do the fighting part for sure. Do I have a plan B? Is there a plan B? Do you have one?
Sanderson talks about what would happen if the walls fell. Yeah.
Does it involve this creepy mine?
Yes. We
Okay.
hole up in the mine and we shut ourselves in. There are some supplies that have been placed there, and it's like a really big storm cellar, but it's pretty deep. And they used to dig pretty far into the mountains here, and those old mining shafts, they're dangerous, and we're not supposed to go there, mostly because they're a last resort.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because these don't Romeros seem more dangerous than like a slippery mine, but I don't know. I've not been in your mine. Maybe it's very dangerous. So where are we going again? We're not going to the house. We're going like house adjacent.
Shh. And she like clears, like holds up against the wall with her gun held, and like listens, and then turns and kind of clears the area before moving forward. And then she motions you on. And you keep following. Achira and Lampwick, you are brought into a very small room. It is only about 10 by 10. There is a cot here and a set of cabinets and a small sink. There is nothing else here. There is a door that has been completely boarded up. And you can see some medical equipment that has been placed on the shelves. There are some tools, and there is a very, very small tray that has some implements that are set out upon it. The doc turns to you and looks at you, Achira. So it would be best if you waited out here.
Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. And I say that unfortunately because I would rather wait outside, but uh it's just one of those things
All
where
right,
we don't let
come
one
in.
of us
It's
be
fine.
alone.
It's going to be crowded. Just come in. I don't have time to argue with you again about this. So, you, Chuckwagon, and Lampwick, along with the doc, are in this very small room that's little more than a pantry. The door is closed. It is not locked. However, Chuckwagon is standing in front of it and is watching both of you very closely. The doc kind of squeezes past you, Achira, and moves over to Lampwick. If you're going to be here, Achira, I'm going to ask that you just kind of push up against the wall over there, please.
I will as much as possible, but all of this is just so unnecessary. It just seems like there's a lot of other things that we could be doing right now.
You've said this. Right now, making sure that Lampwick is not contagious and spreading anything is of the top priority.
Let's do this.
She begins to examine you, Lampwick. She does put on a mask and gloves, and in this small room at this point, it doesn't really matter. Everybody here, if there was a sickness, is probably contaminated by you.
I said that Achira put on that mask protection that we said everybody had before.
Yeah, sure. You've pulled up a mask, and so Chuckwagon does the same. Pulls a mask on, a piece of bandana over his face, and the doctor begins to examine you. It feels fairly regular. The last time that you were at a doctor of any sort of actual training has probably been years. But you start to recall what this is like. It's very procedural, and she kind of works through a list of things, and she's marking things off onto a clipboard. She does, however, at one point begin to take a small candle and hold it in front of your eyes and draw it closer and further away from you. And she tells you to watch the flame.
I do.
So what were you eating?
Anything I can get my hands on. There were oranges, there were rations. It was dark. We were eating whatever was left in that bunker. That was for us to take. Some fruit.
Some fruit. She looks to you, Achira. And so your concern was that there was a citrus allergy that Lampwick was being affected by.
I know that he's a big dum-dum that'll eat anything that's put in front of him. So, there's that. I wasn't there at the time, but I know that normally he's healthy as a horse, a big dumb horse. So it's just one of those things. He finally found something that would knock him on his ass.
I just think I ate something that didn't sit well. That's it.
All right. So my question to you is, why are you trying to deceive me?
To me?
I don't know what you mean, Dr. Espinosa.
I'm not trying to deceive anybody.
You're telling me that there's a citrus allergy and that the abrasion on your hand is caused by that?
It's a very real possibility. He eats with his hands.
Yeah, that's
in his
not
nose.
the case.
He doesn't know what a fork is.
Yeah, that's not the case. You're wrong. You do not, from what I can tell, have a citrus allergy. There are no other signs of inflammation. And from everything that I can tell, you're suffering from regular food poisoning.
Well, that's what I was also thinking. I thought it was something I ate. I didn't think I could be sick. It was too soon to contract it from him. We only saw them hours ago, I think. If that, it was today. So, anyways, thank you.
You don't have a fever. You are seemingly no longer nauseous.
I feel better. I got that out of my system, and I feel better. I don't know what else to say.
We weren't trying to lie. I legitimately thought that he was just, I had never seen him eat an orange before. Of course, it would just be a common ailment when it comes to Lampwick.
We knew it was something to do with the food. We knew that me getting sick off of this kid was pretty impossible. So we knew it had to do with something I ate. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're able to confirm it. Can
I
you give me
didn't
something
confirm
to
it.
settle my stomach?
I can, but we aren't certain. So I'm going to ask that you remain. And then there's a pounding on the door. Chuckwagon stops, opens the door, and steps out. We're going to keep an eye on you, and you're going to stay quarantined back on the far side by the gate. And if tomorrow you are not showing any symptoms, we'll know that I'm right. That said, you're not showing any signs of infection. That young man that you brought in was in quite a state. I don't know what to say about it. However, I will tell you that whatever he has, I guarantee you, you do not.
Whew. Well, thank you.
There was a rash.
Huh. On him.
And a fever. You do not have either. And you're telling me that you were eating MREs.
Yeah. And the fruit. And then there was some dried fruit that I think I shoved into my face.
Chuckwagon rushes in and whispers to the doctor. Each of you can make a spot listen if you would like to hear what Chuckwagon tries to conceal from you.
Yeah.
Definitely. Sorry, I'm just trying to bring this back up.
No difficulty die?
No difficulty die. He's not exactly subtle. He is trying to keep his voice very low, but he's a large man without a lot of subtlety.
No recon gear kit stuff?
No, you're not. Your recon gear isn't being actively used, so.
Got it. Balls.
Okay, so that's 1 degree of failure. However, Lampwick, you have 4 degrees of success. Achira, you've spent everything that you have for competency. Is that correct?
Unless I run into a location hazard.
Yeah,
yes.
you're not currently in a location hazard.
Which
I'm
is
sorry.
why I did not ask.
Yet. However, yet. You can say yet. There will be a time where we will explore location hazards more fully, and I will let you know. However, you fail, but you just don't hear. Lampwick, you do hear. And what you hear Chuckwagon whisper is a very gruff, they're against the wall. There's a whole lot of them, and we're in big trouble. We're going to have to start talking about, making a quick move if we can't do something about this. She looks at Chuckwagon and whispers back, I can take care of them. I'm going to lead them back. You go. You don't hear any of that, Achira. You hear all of that, Lampwick. And Chuckwagon turns and walks back out.
I'm going to immediately interject. Whoa. What was that about?
I need to get you back over with the others. It looks like we have a problem.
We have a problem?
Yes.
I'm guessing it's a Romero problem.
That's very observant. She looks to all of you, and she takes the gun out from the band. She doesn't point it at you. She just has it in her hand. Let's go ahead and move you back over there. We'll get your weapons back to you, and we'll find something for you to do.
Yes. And do you have 2 things right away? Do you have something that can help me settle my stomach? And you had us come here empty-handed. Do you have anything? If we go back and there's a breach, I need to have something in my hands to be able to protect myself and us.
She reaches underneath the small table and produces a bat and hands you the bat, Lampwick.
I take it.
I'm not giving you one of our guns, but I will take you back to your gun now. The yard is holding.
How about if I give you my solemn promise as a Southern Christian not to do anything against you with it?
That's all fine and well, but I don't have a gun to give you right now, so it's not going to happen. There's another knock at the door, and the doctor turns and opens it, and you see Juniper and the blonde-headed girl known as Sunny.
I have your spear.
Hey, I take it.
I try to throw it at him, but I don't.
Juniper, do you have my gun? My long gun?
Abigail has them. She's in the watchtower. It's very scary. Oh, that one too.
You gave it to Abigail?
I don't know how to use that stuff.
we need to get our stuff back and we need to get into position. I imagine that you guys have a plan in place.
We do. You're going to support the wall. We're going to find areas for you to help bolster, and you're both on labor duty. Juniper, you and Sunny, I want you to start patrolling the ridge here. Sunny, make sure that she stays close. Don't let her out of your sight. And stay away from the mine until you hear the alarm.
Yeah, we're gonna stay away from the mine. Can I see if I can like stealth whisper to Limpwick or Achira a thing before we depart?
You can certainly try, but this is a very small room, and you've
Yes.
got a couple of these community members standing right next to you. I'm gonna give you 2 degrees of difficulty.
Okay. Oh, that's fair. I was gonna say either that or on the way out if there's more commotion that way, but I need to whisper something to you. Okay, 2.
Since I had 4 degrees of success earlier, where I was trying to find people that I could do like a black market type of a deal with, and that doesn't seem like, kind of like that beat has passed type of a thing. Would it be possible to pass 2 of those successes over to Juniper now for whispering, illicit advice to us? If not, I'll still save it to try to get a long gun in a different way.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. However, those successes have already been spent, and there is something active within the space that you just haven't encountered yet, based on those successes.
I got 3 failures, so this is like not happening.
So what do you try to whisper?
You know what? I'm gonna whisper it, and if everyone hears it, that's too bad, I guess. Hey, I'm pretty sure the gate's effed, and I think that Abigail will make the same assessment, and we're all gonna go to the mine and hole up. Oh, I did not use my whisper voice.
What is this mine? Nobody had told me anything about a mine before.
No, it's everyone knows about it. It's wow, that was such a loud whisper.
Well, the first person that I just heard mention is the doctor, and if that's part of your plan, then we need to be in on it. We need to know what's going on.
All right, there's a mine. The hills are full of them. We have one connected to this property. It is a fallback space only. We have a lot of important work here, and we cannot let it fall. So first and foremost, we're going to fight. And if the walls hold, this will all be over by morning. If they don't hold, the fallback plan, which you will be informed of when it happens, is to fall all the way back, up against the ridge, and into the mines. They're dangerous.
Do you have a map or anything that you can hand us? Because we're the only ones here that are not familiar with it.
There is no map to the mines. Those of us who have been through them know the way. If you want to know how to get through the mines, you're going to need to have one of us with you.
All right.
Okay.
Well, then let's get the show on the road.
All right, let's do it. The doctor turns and ushers all of you out. Juniper, you begin your patrol with Sunny, and Sunny walks to a set of steps and walks up to the back of the house. Look, I have to check in on the twins, and I need you to come with me, but it's really important that you don't make a lot of noise and don't make a big fuss about being here, because I'm not really supposed to bring you in.
Okay, why are they secret babies?
No, they're not secret babies. They're just pains in my ass. And Sunny pulls out a set of keys and unlocks the back door, and you can see that there are 3 deadbolts that are on it. And as soon as she opens it, she stops and she bends down and unhooks a tripwire and pulls it back. Come on in.
Okay, that was very dramatic. Thanks for showing me the tripwire.
Am I gonna regret this?
No, I'm fine. I just say things loud. I don't live here.
Yeah, you don't live here. I thought never mind. And she closes the door and she locks it and puts the tripwire back. The 2 of you begin moving down the hallway. She's holding on to this lantern. It's fairly dark, but you do hear some movement, and there is the sound of a small generator in a room further away. And she starts moving towards that. Do you follow along?
Yes. I want to see these twins.
The two of you walk down this corridor, and she comes to a doorway, and she looks at you, and she holds her finger up to her mouth, and then she opens the door. And seated there on the floor on a rug in a room that has a few sparse pieces of furniture and some toys scattered about are a pair of red-headed twins. They're both young. It looks like they couldn't be much older than maybe 9, 10 years of age. And they are covered in freckles all over their body. And they have these really bright green eyes. And both of them kind of look over at you. At first, you think that they're both boys, but you, after on second look, you think that one might be a boy and the other might be a girl. And they are sitting in front of a small cart that has a cable running off the back of it. There is an old television and a VHS player. And on the screen, you see a number of strange cartoon figures in black and white on old scratchy VHS chasing each other around. One is a cat and one is a mouse. And the cat is running through a kitchen as pots and pans are falling on top of the gray cat.
Oh, this is nice. Why can't we just lock the door and like chill here for a little bit? Take a breather.
Hey, who's this? Who's this? Who is this? Sonny, tell us, or we're gonna tell. We're gonna tell.
My name is Juniper, and I'm very cool, and I don't know why you're yelling so much.
Why is your hair like that?
Why is your hair like that? It's weird.
Are the rest of us in here with them?
No, you're not. The two of you are being walked back across the field, and I'm going to come back to the three of you in just a moment. So the two kids are there, and they're all around you. They're like picking at your gear and looking at it. Do you allow them to do so?
Sure. Hey, Sunny, I thought you said they're twins. They're clearly like just they don't look the same.
Look, I need both of you to just tell me that you're okay. Move away from her. And Sunny kind of pushes them away. And we'll come back to you. Up in the watchtower, you are beginning to think that there's not going to be a response, Abigail. Everything is very quiet for a long time. And eventually you realize that there isn't a signal that is flashed back through the lights. However, you look over at your companion on the watchtower, and you can see that they are scanning desperately back and forth. Neville stops and takes a deep breath. I think it's getting worse.
Yeah. Do you have any vehicles that are operational around here by any chance?
I mean, no, we have a wagon and there's the two horses.
It was worth a shot of luck, but I'm afraid that won't be as fast as anything. There's got to be a way to lure them away from here, at least away from the direction of the mines. Something create a distraction far off in the distance. Set another forest fire.
I don't know. How would you get through that? What would you do? Would you walk through that? Because I don't think it would work.
Why I asked for the car. Yeah, that's why I was hoping for a vehicle or something to that effect.
You'd have to make a lot of noise.
Can't think of anything.
You set a really big fire. I don't know.
Yeah. And Neville, I think you should know that if I figure out a way to do this, I probably won't be coming back. So do tell my friends that, I did everything I could to save their ass. And once again, Abigail was always right.
Okay. Are you saying you're bailing on this right now, or what are you telling me?
Not right now. I need us to put our heads together and think of a creative solutions. We need a creative solution to get me out there to make a lot of noise.
Yeah. Yeah. How to get you across? Great. Yeah, I'm sure that there's. I mean, I don't know how to get you past all that, but we'll think about something. I'm sure that there's a way. You can see that Neville is sweating even more profusely as there is the sound of someone scaling the rope ladder.
Hmm. I will look over and see who's climbing the rope ladder.
Okay, yeah, you look over and you see Sanderson working his way up the ladder into the space that you're in.
Hey, Sanderson.
Yeah.
Um,
What Neville is, they put you here. Great. Just
yeah.
wait right there, okay? Wait there. Neville, report. What is happening? Yeah, well, the Abigail here has some thoughts. I think it's worth hearing her out. She actually thinks that we could create a distraction and get them off the wall, at least to stop putting so much pressure on it. I don't think it's going to last. They're starting to pile up, boss. I don't like the look of it. Let me see. And he grabs the scope and starts to kind of work across the field. Well, that's a clusterfuck, isn't it? All right, Abigail, right?
Yeah.
What do you have in mind?
Well, I was hoping you had some form of vehicle, but something was mentioned about a wagon and a horse. How fast are your horses?
So that's your idea. You're going to ride a wagon and horse out of the gates and through that?
Well, unless you got a motorcycle up your sleeve. We need to get far away fast, and I don't know. I mean, any pots and pans I can bang as I go along? Eventually, I'll explode something in the distance, but that's the grand finale.
No, we don't have anything like that. There are some old tractors, but you're not going to be going very far with them. We've been working for quite a while to replace some of the belts. All the rubber's rotted away, and while we've replaced what we can, they're not functioning right now. Needless to say, we're not giving up, but if you can get them off the wall, we would be willing to give you anything that you needed. That said, if you're getting out there, you're going to have to do it on foot.
I was afraid you were going to say that. All right. There's no supplies anywhere. Any kind of climbing rope, of anything, scaling something.
We can help you with rope. We have
Okay.
climbing gear.
All right.
We've got a couple of other things that might help you too, but
if you're willing to suit me up with supplies, I am willing to do whatever I can to get as many of them off of the wall as possible. And believe me, I know what the risk is there.
risk, you step out of this gate and it's effectively suicide. But
Yeah.
if you're going to do it and you're going to draw some of them off, you're going to save a lot of people here.
I'm aware of that.
All right, Abigail. Let's see what you've got. If you mean what you say and you aren't just trying to run a fast one here, yeah, you've got my support. Come with me. Neville, get off your ass and keep a watch on that horizon. I don't know what's going on, but I don't like the way that those things are moving. I want you to keep us updated every 15 minutes. They're watching from the house. Yeah. I'll do that. And Sanderson looks to you, Abigail, and then politely motions to the ladder.
I will climb down.
All right, you start climbing down, and you make your way onto the ground. Sanderson follows after, just as you see Lampwick and Achira being marched across the field by the doctor. She has a gun in her hand, but it's not pointed at them. Lampwick has his spear. And Achira, you have nothing in your hands?
That they can see. My hand scythe is still
yeah, you still got it,
hidden.
but you
I assume that I see that Juniper had said that Abigail had my long gun.
Yeah.
So if I see Abigail, I would assume that Achiro would be like heading over there to be like, so.
Same with me. I know that she has my pistol, so I would like my gun.
Abigail, Juniper said that she gave you my long gun. I believe I see it on your back. Can I have that back?
Uh, yes, you can. However, you might find a few rounds are missing from it, but don't worry, I will put them to good use. I have a feeling you're going to have a little bit more time than I am to find some more ammo.
What's going on? Like, we need to put our heads together and figure out a solution. I also need my gun, but
Yeah, of course.
I take it.
Same. I only took one or two. I
Right.
didn't want to leave you guys empty-handed, but I had a feeling I was going to have to do some heavy shooting soon.
What are you talking about?
Oh, so the wall's completely overrun. So I'm going to go out there with absolutely no brains in my head and try to cause a giant distraction to get at least half of them away from the wall so that all of you and them can live.
Great idea. Terrible, terrible, terrible.
Indeed. I wish you the best of luck with this plan. Indeed. If that's where you want to go with it, perhaps Molotovs and slingshots might be a way to go. But do what you feel works for you. I'm not ever going to tell someone otherwise.
Okay, wait, hold on. So
We tried the flaming Romero thing. That didn't work. I'm going to have to set something else on fire besides them.
Oh,
but we've tried other things that have worked. Look,
fire, then.
look. Listen, let me have 30 seconds because I kind of have an idea. We need a distraction. Yes, something on that side of the wall at a distance making some noise to pull them away. There's other ways to do that that don't involve getting somebody killed on
Right.
purpose.
If you're about to say slingshots and Molotovs, I will lose my ish right now.
I mean, you slingshot something is actually what I'm thinking about. Flares. We've used flares before. We just need something that's going to get flung over there that's going to make noise. I'm going to turn to the doctor. What's you said earlier that you have an alarm system. What do you have things here that make loud noises? Are any of those things portable? And do you have a way of launching one of those things on that side of the wall while it's making noise?
You want us to launch our alarm bell over the wall?
Is it something that can ring as you're throwing it? If you're planning on ringing it as an emergency to have everybody get into the mine for safety, just have that thing get flung on the other side. It's going to draw some of them away from us.
All right, look, I really appreciate what all of you are doing. Sanderson's in charge of the defense. Sanderson, you're going to have her go out there. Is that what I'm hearing? Sanderson stops and looks over at Abigail. She volunteered, and I've got to say, it's bad out there, worse than I've seen. I actually think that sending somebody out who can get through fast enough and quietly enough might be able to slip past. And then again, we've also got what Yumiko's got back in the basement. We could pull that out, give that to her, and make some sort of noise.
May I reiterate the idea that I already had, and that Lampwick then, put out like it was his idea? Slingshots and Molotovs, but we can also upgrade that to slingshots and whatever it is that you use to blind into the to blast into the mine. Like literally a slingshot in that to get them further away and to also take some of them down. Like that is a very real possibility, especially if you have that here within your camp.
What do you propose that we use as a slingshot?
Do you not have okay, so for instance, with medical doctors, they have to do a tubing.
I have tourniquets, but I don't think I have enough medical tubing to make that work. I mean, certainly
we would just need like 4. We would just need 4 to be able to like put a dynamite or explosive or Molotov into like the stretchy tubing to then propel it forward while it is lit further away from the walls to create not only a distraction, but also taking those down that we do not wish to be standing.
Right. Look, if you want to try to put something like that together, that's fine, but I need to know if we're suiting Abigail here up to make a trip out beyond the wall.
I'd like to see if we can exhaust other options before we send somebody out to their death.
Yeah. All right, fine. Abigail, you're good with this?
Fine, but you have to be quick, Lampwick. Know that every second that we stand here trying to throw around more ideas is more and more of them backing up. And it's just making it worse and worse for me
Look, why don't you guys get ready on your end to do what you already decided you want to do, and then we'll do what we can on our end to see if we can prevent you from having to do that stupid thing.
That's fair.
Oh, whatever you want to do, since obviously the catapult thing is Lampwick side.
You're free to get whatever equipment you need. The doc looks at both of you. Find the medical tubing if you want to use it, and then we can get Chuckwagon to bring a few other supplies. But you're going to have to be quick about this. At that point, Sanderson looks at you, Abigail. Look, one of our members of the community found a box in the mines pretty deep. It was pretty dangerous, so we sealed it up and we have it buried not too far away. It's dynamite.
Right. That's a wonderful thing to find in a box.
Yeah, well, it was sweating, so we weren't going to have it stick around anywhere near our buildings. Yumiko, one of our members, she has a map of where she buried it.
And if I get to that and I can dig it out, where do you want me to set it off? Because at this point, I do not know where your safe haven is, and I don't want to accidentally set it off anywhere near where you guys are headed. I'd like to be as far away from the rest of you as possible. So
I think
once
you bring
I
it
find...
out. Yeah. I think you bring it out to the middle of the yard. And if that wall breaches, rather than just sending you out, we leave you behind and you ignite it. If you're offering.
If they can't figure out how to make a better distraction than me doing this when all else fails so that we can keep the medical facility not overrun, I will in fact ignite it in the middle of all of those guys.
I mean, it would slow them down, and it would certainly give everyone else an opportunity to see themselves to safety, and would give us every opportunity to keep them off the walls long enough to save this place. I don't know. It's up to you, Abigail, and we're not going to make that decision for you, but we can at least make it worth your sacrifice. The dynamite would do that. If you can think of a way to get it even further out, you might be able to draw them away, but I don't see how you're going to drag a crate of sweaty dynamite all the way across the field of those things and not ignite it in your first 5 steps.
I can try my hardest.
All right. Lampwick and Achira, what are you doing to build a catapult?
Well, since it's your idea, why don't you take the lead?
Is literally something for a backing and 2 very rubbery type of instances on the side. You just put what's in it. I mean, you can build something to like stick into the ground to attach rubber things on, or you can have 2 people like hold, the rubber instances, and you just pull that like all the way back and you just let it go. And as a kid, I mean, I know this, but I'm very certain Achira would have gotten into this mess as a kid. That crap goes like half a football field. You just stretch it back and you let it fly. So
so we need 2 solid posts that we can tie that around.
You literally can do this with 4 kids.
I got it.
I'm
so
telling you from like personal
We're
experience.
the
I
post.
literally do this from 4 kids.
So your
It's
plan.
literally 2 to hold,
Mhm.
1 to stretch back, and 1 to place. And then it's
Got it.
like,
All right, so gather your resources. Since you're not actually constructing anything specifically, I'm not going to have you make an engineering roll. What I will do, however, is if you get the materials, we'll talk about that next. So Chuckwagon comes back. The doc talks to Chuckwagon. You, Chuckwagon, Lampwick, and Achira begin to gather materials to do this. Is that fair?
That sounds excellent.
yeah,
Okay.
I was going to look for their most explosive thing, whether it's official or unofficial.
How many survival points do each of you have?
200.
200.
Okay, I'm going to take 50 off of each of you, and we're going to get you everything that you need to do this, and you'll have a portable catapult.
All right.
Got it.
Okay, so right now we are going to move back over to Juniper for a moment. Juniper, these kids are done now poking at you as Sunny kind of shoos them back. She kneels down closer. Kit, Crash, I need you to focus, okay? You got to turn this all off. I know that you're going to be in here for a long time, but I need you to lock the door and not let anyone in. Do you remember what we taught you? Do you have your sticks? They both kind of look concerned and then look back. Is this her fault? Did she do something?
I didn't do shit, kids.
No.
How dare you?
This is Juniper. She's a friend. She didn't do anything. She's here to help us. She's rag and bone. Oh, you travel the rail? Oh, that's so neat. I want to travel the rail.
I mean, it's okay, but people like just die all the time on it. So that's sort of depressing. But otherwise, it's fine. Get to go see things, do stuff.
Our mom died.
Yeah, me too. What about it?
Yeah, no, but I'm saying we're brave. We could walk the rail.
Yeah, maybe when you're bigger. You're pretty small right now. Can you even shoot a gun?
I've shot a gun. You have not, you liar. They won't let you shoot a gun. I have too. Sanderson showed me how. You shut up.
I mean, I can show you how to shoot a gun. I am not good at it though, but I know how to do it.
Sonny like kind of steps in. All right, listen, we have to go. We're not even supposed to be here. So neither of you saw her. That's the first thing. Second of all, get your sticks, stand by this door, turn off that thing. No noise. All right, be quiet. This is bad.
Sonny, I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't live here, but do you really think we're going to keep all of those Romeros out of that gate and everything's going to be totally peachy keen in here and these kids are going to be safe in this room by themselves while everyone's running around doing that? Because I have seen things go a way different way that is not good, and putting them in here in a locker room, that's not saving them for anything.
I could watch over those little cherubs for you if you so cared.
Are you the old, is this the old lady from the before?
Standing behind you, you see the old woman that has entered in with all of you. I would be perfectly fine carrying these two sweet children into safety. We would stay together.
Okay, first of all, we are not friends. I don't know you. I don't even know your name, and I don't want you to tell me. Okay? Second of all, why are you in this house? I'm not allowed in here. Why are you allowed in here? You're way creepier than I am.
We did as they asked, my dear. We set down our arms and brought them no trouble whatsoever. We have complied with their needs, and they have been quite generous to us. We are blessed in their bright light, and I thank the great prophet for bringing us here.
Talking, there's stuff happening. Ugh. Sonny, this is okay. Sonny, sidebar, and I'm not even trying to whisper that quietly. This lady is nuts. I thought we should have taken her out before. We did not do this thing. Well, I regret it now.
She's an old woman. Do you really think that she's a danger?
I have seen weirder stuff happen.
Right.
But okay, listen. Old lady aside,
Mother Hodge, I need to ask that you go back to your room. All right?
I didn't want to know her name.
I'm not in charge of what's going on. I know that there's everything that you need is upstairs. Please go back to your room, close the door, and lock it. All right. Well, I was just seeking some refreshment before I turned in for the evening. Is there a problem?
Stop talking. Get out of here. Nobody wants you here. This is a private conversation.
Well, I would hate to be where I was unwanted. Bless you both.
You're not wanted. We're not friends. Get out of here.
She turns and she starts walking back up the steps slowly, and you can hear her humming as she goes. And somewhere off in the distance, a door closes. I don't like her. She's weird.
Sonny, I am having a real talk with you right now, and I'm telling you, you need to get those twins down to that mine right now. I don't care what the orders are from the leaders or whatever the hell's happening here, but they are gonna die if you leave them here. I know exactly what's coming, and there's no way you're gonna fix that fence.
The fence isn't the problem. It's the amount of dead on the other side. They have ways to deal with this. Sanderson used to be in the military back before the fall. I don't think that this is going to go the way that you think it is. But you know what? If we have to, we'll come back. The kids will be fine here. I just need to check in on them. Come on. And she closes the door, locks it, and she listens for a moment. I told you to turn that thing off. All right. And you hear like some clicking noises as the power goes down on the TV. And the two of you begin exiting. And Juniper, as you're leaving, there's the sound of creaking on the steps again. And you see Mother Hodge turn back on the corner and is standing on the other end of the hallway. My dear, before you go, I did realize that I forgot something important.
If you keep talking to me, I'm going to shoot you.
I know your heart is full of sin. I wanted to tell you, I forgive you.
You are full of shit. I'm gonna reach for my bow. I'm tired of this dumb ding dong.
What do you do? What? I don't do that. And Sunny like tries to scramble, but go ahead and reach for your bow.
That's right, I'm doing it.
Are you making an attack, or are you just making a threatening motion?
Attack. I warned her 3 times. Maybe 2. Maybe 1.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your attack. No degrees of difficulty. You're in the dark, but you are a good enough shot that's mitigated by the lantern.
20.
Yeah, that's a horrible roll. That is 4 degrees of failure.
I just wanted to do something.
Yeah, you did something.
Okay.
So, as you pull your bow out, why don't we talk about how this goes wrong? Sunny's trying to stop you. How many degrees of failure do you wish to try to remove? Do you have any competency left?
I have all of mine. I'm going to use them all right now to only get 1 degree of failure. So I have 3, so that's 1 degree. Yeah, 1 degree of failure.
All right, so that's not going to result in anything catastrophic. What ends up happening is you fumble your bow and you drop your arrow as you're about to do this. And Sunny kind of like slaps it out of your hand. Let's go.
Yeah. Can I reach down and get the arrow that I dropped?
Yeah, you
Okay,
reach
cool.
down and you try to get your arrow, but you see that Mother Hodge has picked it up. I know your type, you feral foundling.
I can hear you. Oh my god, you're talking so quietly, and I just start walking away.
You'll hear soon enough, my dear. When all the sinners are washed away, you'll find your peace. And she snaps the arrow and throws it at you.
Sunny, are you serious? You didn't just hear that? You didn't just hear that? She's gonna kill everyone in this house for sure.
I don't like her, but we don't kill people. Not without more, like, what do you want me to do? I'm not gonna hurt her. Let's go. The kids are locked up. There's nobody else. She's just gonna annoy that sick kid upstairs. All right, let's go. Do you want to
Right.
come now, or do you? I mean, I don't know. What
Okay,
do you
we're
think-
gonna go, but I'm just telling you right now. If those kids die, it's because either the Romero's got them because you didn't listen to me about the fence, or it's because this old lady is freaking nuts and she's gonna kill them for no freaking reason.
Make a persuasion check.
Ooh, please do good. It's one failure. I'm not very good at anything today.
That's okay. So it's not catastrophic. She stops and she looks at you. We really need to go. Let's just go. And she ushers you out, and both of you close the door. She resets all of the locks and everything. And as you're leaving, you see just the shadow standing in one of the windows through the bars that have been built in with wood. And you know that the old woman, Mother Hodge, is watching you.
I flip her the bird.
Okay, so you flip her the bird, and the two of you step out.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, Lampwick and Achira, you have gathered together the material that you need to form a makeshift catapult, a mobile slingshot, as it were. You also found a couple pieces of leather from an old saddle that had been cut apart. And Achira, you feel like you'd be able to use that to make a dish that you could use for the seat of the catapult itself. The medical tubing that you found is pretty good. It is homemade rubber, and you don't know how much tension it can really take before it snaps or breaks. It's not manufactured rubber. In fact, rubber does deteriorate over time, and you don't know where they got this. So you're not really certain about how secure it's going to be. But you do have the materials to do this.
Great. So what are we going to try to slingshot over? And while we're kind of investigating it, I'm stretching the rubber and testing like the elasticity and strength of it.
Like warming it up.
Well, not too much, but just a little, just making
Yeah.
sure that it's not going to rather have it break now easily than in our face with whatever we're going to try to send over.
Oh, if it did, we just have to toss whatever it was over the over the wall. But no, warming it up, that works. It's like what you do with rubber balloons. Like you don't just like blow them up, you like stretch them out first. So it's
Oh, good.
yeah.
See, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. No. It's a great instinct. Achira is like asking Lampwick, so, what exactly is it that we're trying to do here? Are we trying to do like a big bang to get them distracted in a different direction? Are we trying to set them on fire? Or is it more like a type of a deal where it's like, let's cause a real explosion? Because depending on what we want to do, depends on what we're going to throw.
I think we need to look. We set them on fire. It didn't stop them like we hoped it would before, and they still came after us. I think that our best bet is to launch something that creates a really loud noise in the distance in the opposite direction of where we are, and to draw them. Because
Right.
setting them on fire or blowing them up didn't stop them, and then they were on fire chasing us.
Indeed. So we want the cherry bomb effect, and that can be done in a number of different ways. And then you just see like a Chira start giggling to herself, like she's lost in a memory for a second.
Yeah, so you're starting to gather up some thoughts on how you're going to handle this. Meanwhile, Abigail, you've been introduced to a middle-aged woman with kind of salt and pepper dark hair that's been pulled back really tight, and she's wearing a pair of old overalls that have been patched up over and over again, and an old flannel shirt. But she has a backpack on, and she has a pair of goggles that have been refitted. They look like they used to be welding goggles, but you can see that they've got the lenses from prescription lenses that have been kind of like glued into them to try to replace the old frames that they once held. She's introduced to you as Yumiko, and she has a map, and she's trying to assist you in locating this dynamite. I need you to make a navigation check, please. That's okay. While you're making the roll, the two of you work your way along the back of the ridge, closer to where that rocky ledge is that blocks off two sides of this encampment. The other two, as I've described, and you can see on the map, are blocked off by a number of large log walls that work their way all around the encampment and then hit up against the base. As you're passing through, you see a large area with a number of tracks and old rusted mine carts that are all around them. There are a couple of old buildings that have completely collapsed in on themselves from age, and there is what looks like a shaft that has been built into the rock wall itself. There is a large solid wood door that has been newly built, and it is blocking the interior of that mine shaft. You have 1 degree of failure on your navigation. I'm going to roll for Yumiko to see if she's able to make any sort of inroads here, as the two of you are looking over the places where it could be possibly buried. Yumiko does well enough that the two of you stumble around for about 30 minutes. It isn't a quick solution. It takes a lot longer than it should. And the two of you finally come across the spot that is marked on the map. Yumiko confirms it and looks to you. Should we start to get
Don't,
this now?
yeah, don't touch it. Um, do you have anything padded to put it in? It's going to be real sensitive to the touch. Do you maybe your shirt? Is it an overshirt that she has on that's plaid?
She like pulls it off and hands it over to you, and rebuckles her overalls, and she has like a tank top on underneath.
I'm gonna fold it up as many times as I can to make it so that it's kind of pillowy, and I'm gonna look at her and tell her to back up very, very far.
Look, I used to be a database administrator a long time ago, and I have learned quite a bit about you know survival. I don't know anything about dynamite though, and what Sanderson said was that we can't expose it to air for any kind of extended period of time. Do you know anything about that?
Oh, I've heard things in and guns and munitions are more my thing, but the boys talk about some of the more explodey things every so often. And again, I listen well, but yeah, no, it is one of those things. It's a do or die card when it could at any moment, as soon as it's exposed to air, jostled around.
Okay. And so you
The
start
fun in it.
digging sweaty old dynamite out of a hole.
Very, very, very gently.
I understand what you're saying. Um, I would like Abigail. Go ahead and make a push and pull roll for me, or a lift pull.
All right. I would also like to stop with it still having a small layer of dirt on it. If I can just kind of see like the outline of it so I know where it's at, it's kind of where I'm going to stop digging. You said a
Lift pull, but do you have any equipment that you want to use?
Ooh, I am not sure if I have any that is applicable at this moment.
Equipment can make a very large difference in what you're doing.
I have. Ooh, I do have a heavy coat.
Okay,
Other
so
than that, no.
we will say that Yumiko brought a small folding camping shovel and hands it to you, and then steps back like 3 good steps away. And you are going to receive a +4 because of this piece of equipment.
And that is the multiplier, correct?
Yeah. So go ahead and make your roll, and let's see how you do.
Not well.
Is that 5 degrees of failure?
Yes, it is.
How much competency do you have remaining?
2.
How much of it do you want to use in this situation?
Oh, absolutely all of it.
Because you've rolled a 92.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a severe failure, as you have pushed this little spade into the ground and broken the earth. And as you do, there is you hit wood and you hear a tap. And are you going to use 2 to reduce it to 3 degrees of failure?
Yes.
You're going to get one chance, Abigail. And then I'm going to have to roll an immense amount of damage. This isn't a small amount of dynamite. As soon as that spade hits the wood of the box, you hear a strange snapping noise. I want you to make a dodge. That dodge is going to have 2 degrees of difficulty added to it. You have 1 degree of success, which is just enough for you to throw yourself backwards away from the crate as it explodes. The dynamite has ignited, and the earth around you has been expelled into the sky, making an enormous, ringing, pounding explosion that echoes throughout the entire canyon around you. It bounces off of the walls, and it creates an endless cacophony as it rolls deeper and deeper across the walls and out towards the mass of Romeros that have gathered at the walls. You hit the ground and you roll forward.
I would like to run as fast as possible in whichever way I can see as soon as I can get my bearings enough to run.
You pull yourself up and you start to run. You're charging across this field and you are still shocked at the fact that you're even alive in this moment. Had you not been able to roll out of the way in that split second, you would have certainly died. But that explosion is heard by everyone across Grey Ridge Farm. The night, for a moment, ignites with a fireball. And Abigail, as you're running, there is a shuffle of rock from above, and large pieces of the ridge along the sides of this area begin crumbling downward in a small landslide. You hear Yumiko's scream as she rushes forward, and you watch as she gets pinned underneath a rock. Do you stop or do you keep running?
I keep running.
You're making your way quickly back into the central area near the main house. Juniper, you and Sunny are outside, and you step out, and immediately you're greeted by that explosion.
Oh, that is very bad, probably. What is that about? Is that your thing?
We got to go over there and see if anybody's hurt, and Sunny starts running towards the explosion. What do you do, Juniper? she seems to have left you behind.
I go back in the house.
You make your way back up the porch. You grab the handle, and you realize it's locked.
Son of
Do you want to try to pick the locks or remove them?
Yes, I think. Do I have lockpicking? I may do. Is that a thing?
I'll let you look. We'll come back to you.
Sure.
Achira, Lampwick, you are constructing your slingshot, and as you are nearly complete, there is an explosion across the community deeper towards the ridge. You hear the shuffling of rocks, and from beyond the wall, the groaning and the noises from the Romeros becomes deafening as you visibly see the wooden wall creak forward as more weight is put upon it. A bell begins to ring.
Oh. Is the sound of the bell coming from obviously from within the walls?
Yes.
From one central location, or is there like a system?
It's coming from one of the watchtowers, and then the other begins ringing. And you hear a shout, "They're coming over!"
Is it possible, is there time to still catapult our smaller bang making explosives over the wall to try to detract somewhat from what they just heard? Or is it best to just get out of Dodge?
I mean, how close are we? Like, if we were like, if this all happened in a moment where we're about to pull the thing back,
That's
I say
what
let's
I pictured.
go.
Like, we're like here about to, and then and it's just like,
I say let's throw it. If we're that close, let it rip.
I have two questions for you before we go further with this. What did you use to build your small explosive?
Gunpowder, sawdust, a mild adhesive, and ignition fuse.
Okay. I'm going to say that you have all those things on you. I just need you to go ahead and... Do you want to bid something, or do you want me to give you a skill?
Oh, I can do it skill wise. With it, I mean,
I don't know if you have an advanced skill or some specialty that I don't know about, but I would say it's an engineering or a construction.
Not for this. This is literally a more of a me thing, knowing what you can put in things like that, which is, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, Lampwick doesn't have the skill set to engineer that.
I'm not arguing the fact that you would know the basics of putting these items together to make an explosive. I'm saying that the construction might be faulty. So let's have you make a construction roll.
Okay.
It's in the expert skill list, unless you have something that you wish to bid in replacement for it.
Is it possible with survival points to just cash those in for someone has already made it built? Because as far as my expert skills are for construction, I have like 6% in that.
What I'm going to do is this. If you both give me all of your survival points, I'm going to say that you convince Sanderson to help you.
No.
Oh.
No.
So you each have 150 apiece. That's 300 survival points. If you give me those 300, I will give you a bomb.
No, I'm sorry. I can't. I can't give up my 150 for that.
That's too much for me too. I'm gonna drop what we have intended.
I would rather light a bottle of vodka and toss that over.
A Molotov cocktail you can do.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
I'd rather do that with like the range that we would get for this, and just do our best with that.
Okay. Understandable. I'm not going to make you roll for that. I am going to have you roll a ranged attack to get it over the wall.
Okay, no problem.
Go for it.
So whoever's actually, who's holding it, it doesn't matter. Whoever's shooting it is the one that needs to make the roll. And I will not add any degrees of difficulty because of the assistance of the people that are standing by. And you do grab a few other survivors within the community that are currently on patrol that are going to help. However, their numbers seem very, very thin. And while the walls have been reinforced, it does seem like they're going to end up collapsing fairly soon. there's a great amount of weight on them, and you do see a couple of bodies off on the side, some shadows as they start to breach the wall and fall over, and you start to see the corpses and the Romeros pulling themselves up. And
Great.
from what you can tell, they've created a ramp of their own bodies to scale over the wall.
Damn. Okay, so for the ranged attack, is it okay for me to use my long gun skill, or should I use a different one?
You won't be using your long gun, but you will be using. Do you have a straight ranged attack or just long gun?
Well, my long gun has been the ranged attack that I've used for everything.
That's fine. Go ahead and use that. I don't want to dig into the mechanics of it right now, so you can go ahead and just use that ranged attack.
Two degrees of success.
You pull back on the Molotov cocktail and it flies over the wall as a flare of light kind of topples end over end past you and into the masses of darkness beyond you. A moment later, there is a small pop and a flare of firelight from the other side. You can't see what you've hit, but you've clearly hit something. And then it begins to build. And the fire continues.
Well, I think it might be time to get the heck out of Dodge.
I read Achira's face.
Yeah, figures begin pushing over the wall, and there's a creaking noise as the gate breaks and snaps inward, and a tidal wave of the dead push themselves into the courtyard of Grey Ridge Community. The farm has been breached. The walls did not hold. Lampwick, you and Achira, with some of the other survivors, are standing there. Members from the house are trying to fall back and fortify. At this point, they are firing guns, and chaos begins to break out. Abigail, you're charging forward. Where do you go?
I am going to run as far away from this entire situation as I possibly can, but I'm going to try to run up to a high location where I might be able to get a vantage point of what's going on.
In the area that you're currently in, your best vantage point at a high point would be the climbing up the farmhouse, or trying to push past that and making your way to the old silo.
I will do that.
Do you want the silo or the roof of the farmhouse?
What looks sturdier to me?
The farmhouse by far. The silo is taller.
Then I will.
But it is very badly damaged and it looks very old.
I will get to the top of the farmhouse.
All right. Juniper, you're trying to pick the lock. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I have +4 to lockpicking, but I could also just kick the door in. Is that easier for me?
You could try to pick the lock. I'll just
Okay.
make you make one roll. And
what should I roll then with the +4?
with the +4, you're going to be making... Do you have a specialty skill under expert?
Nope.
You don't. Okay.
Oh, pilot. I can drive a car apparently.
Well, yeah, that's odd. We'll have to adjust that as that. You could if you came across the
Sure.
car. So
I
it is
totally
possible
could.
that you have learned how to do that. They're just not very common, but it's not impossible.
Alex suggested the spot listen, or it depends what kind of lock it is, or engineering.
Yeah, let's go ahead and I don't want to make you make an engineering check because you have the +4. Let's have you make the spot listen.
Okay.
And let's see if with the +4, you're going to be able to make that happen.
Where do I put the +4? The multiplier, or no?
Because you're using the lock picks, it's a multiplier.
Oh, whoops. Okay, let me reroll that. I'm sorry. Okay. I just thought the word would say add. Okay, and 4. Okay.
Okay, So that is 2 degrees of failure.
What the
As
hell?
you are, with the explosion and everything else happening, you turn and you start desperately trying to work your way through the locks, and it doesn't open. You realize that these are very sturdy tumblers, and that while you're pretty good with locks, this is going to take more time than maybe you have. But in that moment, Juniper, the door from the inside unlocks and opens.
Is it the old lady?
You don't see her. You see the open hallway.
Oh, this is creepy. I want to make my way as fast as I can to where the twins are, taking care with the tripwire to undo that on the way up.
Abigail, as you rush across the field and you start making your way to the farmhouse, you think you see Juniper stepping into the back door of this house. Do you continue up to the third story of this building, climbing up one of the banisters and up to the roof of the porch and then beyond?
Yes, but I will holler towards Juniper and say, "I'm going up top. I'll see you there."
Sounds good.
Make a climb check, please. June, you're moving your way through the hallway, and it's dark, and you don't see anyone else here. The door that you're looking for is up ahead of you, and what do you do when you reach it?
I undo the tripwire and I just open it.
Okay, and you open the door inward, and you step in. I need you to make a dodge check, please.
Okay. Hey, let's do this. 1 degree of failure.
Okay, so you get hit by a stick. What is your damage threshold?
It is 5.
Okay, so you have don't worry about it. The stick swings at you and hits you in the shin, and it smarts, but it doesn't cause any damage. You see one of the kids standing there and glaring at you, and then their eyes get big and they kind of like do this.
That was not very cool. I am here to save you from certain death. You wanna get a boogie on with me and get out there?
Yeah, where's Sunny? What's going on?
Sunny went ahead to go secure the location or whatever it means, but we need to get out of here. It is not safe.
Okay, so
wanna,
the 2 kids are there.
Yeah, I want to pick one up, put it on my back, and kind of I don't know how big a 9-year-old is.
They're not inconsiderable, but
Okay.
you can do that. You put one onto your back and you carry the other one.
Sure.
But they're slowing you down. This is some serious encumbrance as you begin making your way back out of the house. And as you turn the corner, you see that the door is closed again. That leads out.
Feels like a trap. Shoot. Oh, I just remembered. Abigail's on the roof. Would I go to the roof or would I not go to the roof?
Abigail, you have received 4 degrees of failure.
Oh, well.
And you have no further competency as you have spent all of them. You have, thankfully, made your way only up to the first level before you slipped on old tile and your leg pierces down through the roof as it breaks underneath you. Is there anything that you would like to add to this failure?
The roof pierced or my leg pierced or both?
Your leg isn't pierced. Your weight was offset and the roof gave way underneath you. So one of your legs went down into a hole that was created underneath you as the tile broke away.
Let's see. I'll say I probably drop one of the weapons I'm holding too. That's a pretty gnarly.
Okay, I will have you forego any serious injury if you lose a weapon. So what weapon are you going to lose in this exchange?
Crap. let's see. What do I have on me? I am going to lose. I'll lose the pistol for now.
All right, so the pistol skitters across the roof and falls down as you see that it's fallen out of its holster. As you right yourself, you have a number of scrapes and nothing serious, but you manage to pull yourself back up. Everyone, the explosion has quieted. The dead have breached the gate. Abigail is hanging onto the roof. Juniper, you have these two children with you, and you've turned the corner and start pushing your way back towards a locked door. Lampwick and Achira, everyone around you is panicking. They are moving back towards the old farmhouse. Bells are ringing, and you watch as one of the towers topples downward under the weight of the dead. You hear screams as Neville dies, torn apart by the Romeros that rip him out from that watchtower. His upper half is forcefully removed from his lower, and intestines string behind him. The screams of pain echo out. You turn and, like everyone around you, begin running. Grey Ridge is an unyielding piece of rock. It stretches out before all of you, welcoming you into a dark and cold embrace. The night hangs on you, and the screams of those dying echo through the night. Our story will end here tonight, but we will be returning. This journey isn't over quite yet. I want to thank everyone who's joined us tonight. Your support did help to keep this community somewhat safer than it was. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem as if Grey Ridge will make it through the night. But we have hope still. This Friday, we will be offering you another Hunter's Gathering. We entice you to please join us there, as any of the time that you spend here with us at Hunter's Entertainment will garner you resources that you can spend to support the efforts of the survivors here on Presents. Our Scry program is growing, and we do wish to have you engage with it as fully as possible. Please give us your feedback and continue to give us your attention on social media. If you liked what you saw here tonight, please let others know. We are hoping to grow our audience and to increase the engagement that we're able to bring you. Next week, we will not have an additional session of Rag and Bone, but something special will be coming towards you. Please be prepared for that, and keep a watch on our Discord and our social media. Thank you again, and thank you all for your support. We will see you very soon. Good night.